close your eyes right now and imagine the task that you procrastinated on a lot recently that you know you should have done. Now open your eyes. Point is, you are sick and tired of wasting your time, not being productive, and you're literally feeling guilt and shame that you cannot be productive, that you don't get the work done. Thing is, I want to tell you in this video about a very powerful concept from this entrepreneur called Charlie Morgan. The concept of trial by fire, which is such an interesting concept, and it shows exactly why we self-sabotage and also how to stop that, right? So you right now are not the person who can achieve the goal, because if you were the person who could achieve the goal, you already would have it. So point is, we gotta turn you into the person that can achieve that certain goal, and that can therefore, put the work in so that you achieve the result. So how do we do all this? We try to be productive. You work on that YouTube channel, on those videos, on that product, online, with your whatever information you give, or something else, some drop shipping, or whatever other business you work on, or anything. You try to be productive, but you just can't. The reason why is because you feel this resistance that just constantly tries to stop you. That's your current self trying to stay in comfort and manifesting this resistance in different forms. And I'll tell you in a bit what some of them are, so that you don't actually put the work in and achieve the result. You can still do somewhat, but you don't fully. And you self-sabotage at some point, because subconsciously this thing here, we gotta fix it. So some forms of resistance, right? It can manifest through boredom, through anxiety, fear of success, perfectionism, trying to do everything perfect, or trying to, instant gratification, or pleasure itself, pain avoidance, and so on. Things that will basically make you self-sabotage, and you have them as excuses. You say to yourself, or at least subconsciously, that make you not to do the work. Because your current self wants to stay in comfort. It doesn't want to, it doesn't want to become someone new. It's just too high of an effort for him. He just wants to stay in comfort. Your current standards don't want to die, so they will fight back. So mentally, subconsciously, you get the point. So, as Charlie says in that video, right, of trial by fire, we need this equation, which is basically effort times resistance equals pain. And the more pain we get, the more the more our current standards die, and we adopt new higher ones, all right, that require way more effort, and we adopt a new standard basically. So we gotta put the effort in, and you feel the resistance, and when they meet together, you create pain. The more pain you get, the better. And I don't mean physical pain of just throwing yourself out of the building or hurting yourself. I don't mean that. I mean psychologically, you feel discomfort when you do a productive task. That's what I mean. So the more of that pain you get, the more you begin turning into that individual. Look, for example, at guys like David Goggins, right? Do you think he actually enjoys to run ultra marathons, like 100-mile races? Probably not, right? He actually said he hates running, but he runs tens and tens of miles, 100 kilometers, 160 kilometers in a race. Imagine that. He was not like that in the beginning, though, right? We do understand, though, that the more he did, for example, that, or the more whatever other entrepreneur that you look up to, put the work in, the more he adopted that standard and got used to it, to those amount of hours of work, and without distractions, by the way, because many people just work, but in fact they think they're working I don't know how many hours, but in fact they have so many distractions in between, right? So you eliminate all that, and you just are left with the one thing that you gotta do. And as we say, the one thing that you gotta get. Read the book The One Thing, by the way, by Gary Keller. Massive, super inspirational. And that's another thing that might stop you. You're working on too many things. Just focus on one. Now back to what we were talking. And by the way, if you struggle like a bunch with procrastination, and you cannot seem to be productive and get those results that you want because you don't put the work in, hit me up, first link in the description, let me help you. But now back on the video. We need to beat this resistance, right? We need to become this higher self that can actually get it done. And let me tell you a story, right? This is about, and by the way, you gotta do this in all areas of your life, because the way you do one thing is the way you do everything, because that reflects the kind of individual, the kind of person you are, right? Are you organized or not? You gotta prove to yourself you are through being organized in every area. And either way, when you do that, you'll become an organized, disciplined, more productive individual, and so on. So whatever. Now, a story of mine, I think, yesterday, right? It's Sunday. I gotta go on this, not necessarily track, but basically place where I gotta go run my 10.5K. I've signed up for this race. I want to get first place. Will I? Don't know, but I might as well try. So I signed up for it quite some months ago. I've been preparing. So yesterday I just go, back there again, and I'm about to basically do that whatever distance, 10.5K, right? And I feel this kind of bit of resistance and kind of, oh man, can I do it? Should I do it? Maybe, it starts building up that thing, and you know what I'm talking about. You feel it in whatever task you do. And so I still ended up doing it, but the point is, I felt that resistance, right? But because, I was thinking, oh, I don't know if I can beat my time. I don't know how much it will take me. Maybe I fail. Maybe I might not even, be good enough in time so that on that whatever date, 29th of September, I get first place or whatever. So point is, what I ended up doing is I started bit by bit, applying effort, and just going step by step. Started running, started to run, until it actually became way easier. So you gotta beat that resistance to his knees, because this was kind of like alright concept. I mean, alright scenario wasn't super difficult, but I felt that resistance. But you will definitely have some tasks in your productive work, for example, like I did in the past, when you literally don't feel like doing that thing. I had times when I didn't feel like recording videos at all. I had times when I didn't feel like reading a book or synthesizing from a video to get that information, to apply it to my life, to do this and that, to plan this thing and totally change up the plan that I'm following, this and that, so that I teach on the channel, whatever, that stuff that give me results. But I gotta put effort in, and when you put that effort in, that resistance will try to stop you. And what you gotta do is to put even more effort in, so that you increase the amount of pain you feel, discomfort, so that you adapt to it and adopt those new standards of work and discomfort, so that it becomes simpler and you get used to it. You become that kind of guy that is at the way higher level. You turn yourself into someone who can deal with that amount of discomfort and pain as a standard. Way easier. The beginning is the hardest always, but you gotta keep putting that pain in. And also, that's another exercise you gotta do, right? So write on a piece of paper or a document, and if you don't want to, that's resistance. Don't listen to it, because otherwise you're wasting your time watching this video. You might as well learn, right? So go write right now some forms of resistance that you have usually that stop you from doing the work, because exposure and awareness to them, basically it weakens them a lot, right? Because their exposure, you exposing them, is the first step to them to that resistance dying, to those standards dying, and actually you adopting new higher standards. So if you don't feel like doing this right now, that's resistance. That's resistance right now, trying to tell you, no, don't do this. You don't need to. I already know. You don't know. And if you think you have none, that is resistance blinding you. So some of mine are pain avoidance and thinking that, oh, I want to have a great mental health and all that. Because sometimes, right, sometimes I just kind of feel sad if I stay in house all day and all that stuff, and obviously not the best thing to do, but I don't know if it makes sense, but basically I try to do some work, but then I just don't feel like it. I just think I need more time outside, which is good, but I need to schedule it perhaps before or after, so that I know, okay, no problem, we can just go later or go before, whatever, so that in my work time it doesn't distract me. It's not this excuse of, oh, maybe we need to just spend more time doing something fun so that we feel better, right? That's a form of my resistance. So I gotta, beat it to his knees, and perhaps, it helps being outside, obviously. So it puts me into a way higher frequency state. It puts me in a way happier state for a long time after that, so I can work even better. But I must not allow that excuse of thinking I might need some more fun, when in fact I don't, when I need to actually work, right? So that's a form of my resistance. Trying to, because I used to, feel lonely and sad and have a worse mental health, even with these good habits, whatever. So my mind tried to, give me excuses to not work, just to do some more fun stuff. Point is, you gotta expect that it will feel uncomfortable. And by the way, don't confuse productivity with discipline. You basically think you're disciplined, but you're just productive. Hopefully. I mean, you do some things and you think you're disciplined, but actually you don't. It doesn't even, that action doesn't even require discipline. You kind of like doing it. We're using discipline probably way less than you actually think. Or it depends. I mean, I for example love making these videos and so on, but sometimes we'll have these moments when we just don't feel like working at all. That's where you use discipline. Discipline is not doing the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it, as you heard from someone else, but only when you don't feel like it. That's where you use discipline. And you gotta expect this pain, this discomfort. It will happen. And you indulging into that pain, that discomfort, and being productive is not a bad thing. Your brain might tell you, oh no, we need to feel better, or this and that. Just do the work, man. Just do the work. And even you can say, okay, whatever. After this 1 or 2 hours, whatever, of working, we can just go outside or do this fun, healthy thing, right? Don't do some bad habits or whatever. But you get the point, right? So, okay, let's do an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of work, and then after that I can go outside. I can play guitar, I can draw, I can spend time with family or something else, or plan this awesome, pretty interesting thing to do. So have that as well. But point is, effort times resistance equals pain. The more effort you put in for that wall of fire, the closer you'll get to the result, and the closer you'll get to that person, to becoming that person who can, basically. Because you right now are not someone who can achieve the result, because if you were, you would already have the result. So we need to turn into the people that can actually do this. And for example, and this is super real. I even saw this with my running habits, right? So for example, me from 2 years ago could not possibly have the didn't ever have the mental capacity as a habit to actually do 10 kilometers no stop. Now I can do it. I did it quite sometimes already. And point is, that shows that over time I grew. And you'll see this change perhaps not in one day, but maybe in multiple. When you zoom out, you'll see the progress. You might think that, I don't know, am I even making progress? Is this even worth it? You'll have all these excuses, which are resistance. But I tell you, it's worth it. And of course, work on the right goal. If you don't work on the right goal, obviously, you're kind of like, what are you doing? But anyway, point is, you gotta want the goal. You gotta make it specific. You gotta keep applying that effort in and walk through that wall of fire, trial by fire, and so that you can become that person and, achieve those results and achieve those newer standards. And you'll get so much more self-respect and confidence that you will be able to trust yourself more, and so on. So now that you know all this, pick the task that you gotta do, that you feel resistance to, but you gotta do it in your online business or whatever, homework or whatever. Like that productive task you gotta do, pick it and go and do it right after this. And your brain will tell you to, oh no, don't do it, maybe we can just do it later. No, that's resistance. Don't listen to it. We want to beat it. We want to beat it to its knees and defeat that dumb stuff. And it will try to make you not do the work because it doesn't want to stay in discomfort. But guess what? You'll realize after that it's not actually that uncomfortable. It's actually alright. So beat that resistance and actually go do the thing. So right now, pick that one thing that you will do after this video ends. Literally click off right out of YouTube, because you will see this thumbnail, that video, that video, it will attract you to click on them. Don't do that. Go and do that one thing. So that's it. And if you're interested in getting my help, if you're really struggling with procrastination, you cannot beat it, if you want an even more in-depth plan, click the first link in the description. I'm Sebastian, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Peace.